Salutations, Utopians. Unbelievable night tonight in the WNBA. As you all know, um, there was a big time finals matchup, Game 5, which in women's basketball is the pinnacle of uh, hoops, basically, for the WNBA season. It's best of 5. It will be going to best of 7 in 2025. The battle was between the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx. Minnesota Lynx are home of probably the best, most complete player. Nafisa Collier won Defensive Player of the Year and then proceeded in the WNBA playoffs to average 27 a game. The epitome of a two-way player. Courtney Williams, who's a mid-range maestro, in the year prior was playing more two-guard, adapted her style to be a point guard in the league, and to be a point guard on the Lynx. And Kayla McBride has been one of the most cerebral sharpshooters the W has ever seen, to name a few. Alana Smith was such a versatile defender. And they just ran into a New York Liberty team who it finally was just their time. Sabrina Ionescu only shot 1 for 19. She did grace the 30th anniversary of the Slam Cover magazine. Breanna Stewart is probably the most physical scorer in the WNBA, despite not being even the biggest player physically in that starting lineup. That would go to Jonquel Jones, who I'm going to get to in a second, last but not least. But Jonquel Jones and Phoebich, who, it's crazy, Sue Bird was in the house, and that's exactly who she reminds me of. Rookie, didn't even score 20 points one time during the regular season, made all first team for the WNBA, and was, instrumental to their success, especially down the stretch with her ability to put the ball on the floor. Sabali was a surprise spark plug for the Liberty. The way she was playing the passing lanes, bringing that physicality off the bench, the energy, they could not have done it without her. And it's crazy because there's these, what you call the rises, right? Sabali has a sister in the Olympics who didn't join the Dallas Wings until mid-season, and probably had, men or women combined, had one of the best Olympic showings, her sister that is. And it was just so bizarre to watch her on the Wings. Obviously they did fire Trammell this on Friday. They were probably the most underachieving team, and they saved the biggest underachieving team for last in terms of coaching terminations. I think something between 4 to 6 coaches were fired. This offseason in the W, and she was the last one to get it, but the most deserving, in my opinion, with that veteran roster. You had the All-Star MVP over there, Howard, who's going to be a big-time free agent, has already expressed a desire to leave. People have rumored her to go where Caitlin Clark is in Indiana, while they go and reboot off of probably going to leave Nalissa Smith, even though Smith is a restricted free agent. Might even be a sign and trade, actually. Nalissa would look good with the Wings. Be able to spread her wings and do a little bit more, so to speak, no pun intended. So, this was a very intriguing and unbelievable matchup. It couldn't have been anything better. Not to mention Brina B. Stu and Nafisa Collier will be headlining the 3-on-3 league they started, Unrivaled, which just announced a big TNT contract deal. So television rights have already landed before the WNBA's TV deal, which I'm sure is closing in now on $2 billion. With that being said, the big X factor all season was Jonquel Jones. 6'5", just a towering presence, physical, but also had a finesse game, could back you down, could face up, unbelievable, uncanny ability to distribute, not just pass the ball, but know when and where to place it. Timing immaculate, right? And then obviously paint protector, uh, but then also that emotional intelligence to know when to fall back, know when to be a decoy, when to rise to the occasion. Probably the most steady force. Sabrina, Bren, and Brianna obviously are the face of the franchise, and they're the megastars, and rightfully so. Brianna Stewart has 2 MVPs, but Jonquel was such a stabilizing force this year for the Liberty, and I just admired her ability to be able to gauge where she was supposed to get in to fit in, which can be very troublesome when you're surrounded by not one but two megastars. Um, the significance culturally of this is just unbelievable because the W started 28, 27 years ago, and the New York Liberty played the first ever game in the WNBA's entire inception, and they did it against the Los Angeles Sparks. I want to do a special shout out with that being said also to, probably not here now, but Nancy Darsh, who was the head coach for the first season, and the guy who I grew up watching, Richie Adubato. Um, they were the head coaches that really put their hallmark on the rich history of the New York Liberty. And it's just unbelievable tonight what happened because we all know the Knicks and the Liberty and just New York pro hoops has been haunted for so long, and for it's almost can rival the Boston Red Sox, the big Gambino curse borderline. What happened tonight? It was truly unbelievable, remarkable. I actually shed a tear because it was just so amazing. I mean, I remember Teaspoon first 2 seasons winning Defensive Player of the Year, hitting that half-court three-pointer against the Comets. To this day, I think, no. The Comets and the Sparks are the highest-rated playoff game in the history of WNBA. But those rivalries against that storied Comets team, people like to clown on Cheryl Swoops because of, obviously the Caitlin Clark comments and all. But the pioneer Cheryl Swoops won 4 championships. Those Comets teams were epic with Cynthia Cooper and Tina Thompson, who reminds me so much of Nafisa Collier. And for what the New York Liberty stood for, being the arch nemesis of that Comets team, making them earn every bit of the times they did have to line it up. It was so heartwarming to see Sue Wicks out there though, and Teresa Weatherspoon wearing her jersey tonight. Angel Reese, which I'm so glad to see a player of that magnitude, of that caliber, leverage their platform and be present at the game. It means the world to me because we hear about player salaries. Well, these young ladies are, again, it's the 27, 28 year. The league is so young, but it's benefiting so much from NIL and the fact that there's the internet now. So the rapid growth of this league, and the best is yet to come still with the upcoming prospects, most notably Paige Bucher and the young queen over there at USC, Juju Watson, who just signing record deal after record deal last week, Nike, then Gatorade. And a plethora of others that we could laundry list. I'm sure. I mean, it's such a safe bet in terms of getting an ROI on such a polished individual like Juju. But seeing Angel Reese there and what it meant for the league, because Reese obviously is a pioneer, but also just so influential and while you're in the middle of a negotiation, I mean, all the WNBA players should be reposting, quote tweeting on Twitter, keeping every channel on the TV, buying 5 TVs. TVs are dirt cheap nowadays. You can get them 200, get every flat screen with the WNBA app, and family and friends, and just have that channel running until these deals are done at least. And I just love the fact that she was there to promote the game that day. It was just unbelievable, and I'm so happy for the W, and it was so instrumental that we finally seen a championship in New York, men or women. Rebecca Lobo calling the game. You want to talk about one of the greatest what ifs? I mean, Lisa Leslie. Well, Rebecca Lobo was just the East Coast version of that, and she was one of probably the biggest pioneer in terms of what UConn basketball is, and she was the best one, honestly, when healthy. And that's who Brianna Stewart channels the ghost of, is prime Rebecca Lobo, because the Liberty would have had championships by now if Lobo didn't get injured. She's up there with the Penny Hardaways, the Brandon Roys, the Greg Odens, whoever you want to name. If injured, Grant Hills, Derrick Rose, Rebecca Lobo is the equivalent on the women's side. And so, uh, everything you see, Asia Wilson, that was the kind of career Rebecca Lobo was supposed to have. And unfortunately, injuries marred her career. But to be able to at least call the game as a kid, because I was such a diehard Knicks fan that I just took my fandom right over to the Liberty. Like, all right, they'll go get us a ring. And seeing Teresa Weatherspoon, I'm such a fan of, I'm just such a purist of passes and dimes. People throwing no look dimes and stuff, and that's what she did. She'll lock you up 94 feet, throw them no look dimes, and to see Spoon out there, and that was my hope, as a fan. Like, okay, the Knicks can't get it for whatever reason, with dumb trade after dumb trade. Even as a kid, I'm sitting in New York, I'm sitting here reading the newspaper and reading the Knicks made a trade for Antonio McDyess and Frank Williams, and handing away Marcus Camby and Nene Hilario, who later on helped Melo so much in his career, and just going, what are you guys doing? The Jerome James contract, the Shannon Anderson and Howard Isley deals under the Scott Layden administration, and you just go, I don't have faith the Knicks will win a championship this year anymore after the trade with Karl Towns, but at least this Liberty thing does bring a lot of closure, and a monumental historical moment happened tonight that truly warmed my heart. Thank you so much, Brianna Stewart. Thank you so much, Sabrina Ionescu, John Quell Jones, Lady Hamilton, Phoebich, Sabali, everybody. Just, Phoebich, you ain't no rookie, by the way. You've been here before, and so just thanks so much. And other names I'm probably forgetting. Vandersloot lost her mom before the playoffs. Now you see them in there doing their thing, winning the chip, all-time leader in playoffs, in assists in the playoffs. So, what a magical night tonight, Utopians, and I'm gonna have one of the better sleeps I've ever had in my life. I feel like something good is gonna happen for me in my personal existence from seeing this, because a curse has been broken finally. Unbelievable. Miracles do happen. Dreams do come true. All right, Utopians. I try to do better next time. Global out.